Morning. So I think I have really cracked how to actually break into vibe coding. And the reason I want to bring this up is because I'm seeing a massive divergence of really two camps right now. And I think both camps are off. So the one camp is prior software engineers who just want to like come in, they try really lazy prompts or they try prompts and they don't get the results they want to see, or they get some poor code and they negate the 98% of the code that the AI writes, and just let 2% of it sway them to think, okay, vibe coding is complete BS. And then you've got the camp that has never written code before. And so like this is their first time breaking into it. And so they write something that, really isn't going to be a sustainable product or service long term or a suitable code base to actually serve what they need to serve. And they taste a little success and they make it all the rage. I think both camps are off here. And the reason I say that is because if you go with the engineering camp, then you're just like negating the greatest technology of our time. But if you go with the vibe coding camp, then you don't actually build like a sustainable product. So let's crack into it. Cracking into a freshie. Number 2 for the day. Absolutely been locked in this morning. And this is why I'm making this video, because what I just did in the last 2 hours is crazy. So I'm currently working on a admin dashboard and for a weight loss coach. So it's not really a dashboard. It's actually a tool for her. So it's where she can build all her workouts for her clients, nutrition plans, check-ins, everything that she needs to monitor her clients, provide her service to her clients. And then I'm also building the mobile app for her clients to actually interact with her. So we just went through a pretty long conversation last night about a feature that I was kind of didn't ask very good questions on from the initial proposal. And so like I was not going down the right path. So we really hammered it out last night. And it's a significant change to what I thought was going to be taking place. So I'm talking about these two camps. What's the third camp? I say ditch both those camps. And if you want to vibe code, it's all about the database. These LLMs are so crazy good at taking your information and turning it into a database. And then when you're going to actually go to the code side, you don't talk about what features and this, that, and the other you're building. You talk about, hey, you point it to your database in your context and cursor. You give it that context. And then you just say, hey, from this, we need to build then this feature. And it nails it. It has no problems doing that. So let me just run you through what happens. I'm going to go ahead and start right here. We were hacking out back and forth, like, what does this feature actually look like for her? And so I just took our email thread, posted it in there. I let the AI know, hey, read are her corrections of my assumptions and questions. Then I said, let's go ahead and create a summary of this. And by the way, be detailed here. Like we need to be, we're not trying to be lazy. We're not trying to be fast. We just want to make sure like we get all the details right. So then it on the right side here, this is actually the final draft. It was quite a bit different. So then it asked me a bunch of questions. Let me go down to, okay. So after it was done, it created this, formatted summary for me. Then I said, hey, after all that, I appreciate that. After our conversation, I'd like more information for you. So I gave it all this information. Boom, it comes out with the right summary and like all the details and the requirements for this project. And then I said, all right, now let's take my schema, modify it to make sure that it's going to work for this new feature set that we're building out. So I said, hey, this is what I want to do, right? So I said, all right, now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to provide a database schema that I already have to build this project. Currently, all the tables regarding nutrition have not been used, but many of the other tables have. I would like you to create a nutrition tracker, a meal planner, to summarize, to help modify and create the right schema, blah, blah, blah. Goes on. You can read it there. And then I pasted in my SQL, which is like 1300 some odd lines long right now. I gave it that schema. So the thing that I always say is like, please ask whatever you need until you have enough information to modify my current schema to handle the adjustments for this feature, right? So you're probably asking, well, how did this take you 2 hours? Because it asked me a lot of questions and I need to know what I'm talking about, right? I have to think through these questions and have just like a really basic knowledge, right? Do I know what foreign keys are? Do I know what primary keys are? What's a one to many? What's a many to many? What's a join table? Like simple stuff, okay? But you gotta know it because it's gonna ask you those questions so it can make informed decisions and create a schema that is most suitable to your context. And just knowing your context is not good enough. You need to just have some like basic database, knowledge, and then you can really fly with this thing. And so why did it take me 2 hours this morning? Well, because I spent a lot of my time gathering and making sure that I was providing it the right information between the conversation that I had with me and my client. Okay, great. Answer all these questions. Then we kind of went back and forth a little bit more, you'll see. So I had some further questions. When it asked me questions, I was like, well, I don't think I fully understand what you're trying to accomplish here. And then we went back and forth. At the end of this, we end up with a beautiful SQL patch that I can run on my database. So I've already run it actually, but I'll go ahead and run it again for you guys. Boom. Crazy. I mean, that's crazy to just like walk in 2 hours, make it a significant database change. Now, obviously I haven't like tested this yet against my other stuff. And so I know a lot of people are going to hate on that. Whatever. That's fine. I've already been through this process for like a whole workout builder and scheduling for her clients already. And again, super easy. Okay. So like, what does vibe coding actually look like from here? I think where vibe coding people have gone off is like, forget cursor, right? Forget your IDE. That is not the place to start. You've got to start with your database and you need to hack that out. Once that's hacked out, then you've got like the basic structure of how things are going to look. And then you can just like point the AI within cursor, like, hey, we're going to go build this feature. These are probably the tables you want to be thinking about using. And then it can help, especially when you're testing, right? You can just like have it create some seed data for you, plug that in. And so this has been my approach. And all I can say is that I haven't been fighting the AI. And I would encourage anyone who wants to get into vibe coding, start with the database, put cursor away. Don't go build what you want to go build the database. Go build the database. This is how I'm doing it. I'm just taking conversations from my clients and then I'm just taking those conversations, right? These are not technical. There's nothing in here in this nutrition tracker summary that's technical. Not one thing. Okay. And so I take that and I have an AI help me build the database schema around it. Knowing like basic things like, well, what's data normalization look like? Denormalization, because it's going to ask you those questions. It's going to want to know how it should create certain tables and should I build a join table here? And you should be able to say yes or no. Or based on the context of what you're building. So getting like a basic understanding of databases. I mean, for most of us, probably going to just get away with Postgres and Supabase, right? I mean, that's probably sufficient for most things. So go learn some standard SQL and I think you're flying, absolutely flying. And then the next thing is like, look, I just use, I'm using like React Native on the mobile side and then I'm using React, and then I'm using Next.js. I would say that even once you're pointing it, you still need like, hey, let's be thoughtful about how we're like breaking down our components. What's our state management look like? And so I think like the high level things that you need to be like you need to learn anyway as a programmer, that's all you need now. Like, but you still need to just have them and have a good grasp of them. And then you can just like point the AI to go build the puzzle pieces from your database and you're cooking. So this week, I'm not going to get into actually like attaching, that database to the code. I'll probably break into that next week. And I'll show you like how I'm doing that and how I'm targeting that in Cursor. But seriously, go start with your database and have it help you build the database based on your context. That's all I got. I'm going to keep crushing and happy vibe coding. Cheers.